Hello, everyone. Well, welcome to the Lifestyles with Tais show. I'm Tais Froggatt, your host. I'm an entrepreneur, an avid foodie, a yogi, and presenter. Today's story is unique. It's one I knew very little about until I was educated on the topic recently. We will find out what is a doula, how our guest came to becoming one. Our lioness can help the relaxation through touch. She supports and educates women and their partners on the miracle of life. It's a spiritual option, avoiding medicine and complications and causing such harsh procedures to the baby and body. She's a mum of 2 and married to a very supportive husband. Let's welcome our guest, Emily Schoeman.
Hey, I am Em Schoeman. I am a mum of 2 kids. I have a daughter, Evie, and my little boy is Connor. It was at the birth of Connor, which was a really positive birthing experience, especially in comparison to that of Evie's, and a miscarriage that I had in between the 2. That led me on a path to become the Lioness Doula. I am a postpartum, prenatal and birth doula, so I do cover it all, as well as a hypnobirthing supportive caregiver and an optimal maternal positioning ambassador. I'm a self-proclaimed birth nerd, as I think most people in the industry are, but I'm obsessed with anything birth, and as a result, you know, I think that drives my passion to help birthing women and their partners achieve a really positive birthing experience for both of them, and going with the theory that knowledge is power. And that's me. I just aim to deliver amazing services to everyone because everyone deserves a positive birth experience.
Welcome, Em.
Thank you.
How
Thank you for having me.
You're very
I'm
welcome.
good.
So, interestingly, I'm dying to know more about this. What is a doula?
So traditionally, a doula comes from a Greek origin word, which means women's servant. And way back when, it was only really the wealthy women who could afford to have a doula. And throughout history and pretty much every other culture, we actually see women birthing with women, or, you know, experienced elders within, you know, their tribes or their communities. So, you know, it's taking on that. So it's a way of being with women to support them, hold their space, help educate them on their options, and provide that care that they may not get in, you know, the medical field or whatever other way of, whether it be the postpartum time. Especially in Western culture, women are kind of left on their own. You know, you do it all by yourself and this and that, whereas traditionally and in other cultures, you have your army that surrounds you. It takes a village to raise a baby. So being there as a postpartum doula, you're able to help support them in that way as well.
Okay, so historically, this has been done for centuries. It's interesting that I knew very little about it. So is it something that's becoming more apparent, more popular of late?
think it is definitely in Australia becoming more popular of late. Doulas in Australia have been around for about 30 years, if not longer, but definitely a lot more recently, a lot more, doulas are coming up and through, and women and their partners are becoming a lot more aware of their options. That their support team can include a doula, and that the differences as to what a doula versus a midwife provides.
Okay, so apart from the actual day, how much preparation before, or how would I even approach finding a doula?
Um, Preparation before comes down to your individual doula and what they, you know, kind of offer you, as well as, what they want to see you at least do. I offer 4 prenatal classes that we do a little bit of education. We do a bit of optimal maternal positioning work, which is about aligning mum's pelvis. Um, in terms of finding one, there's the Doula Network Australia, which has it's an Australian wide, so wherever you are, you put in your location. Otherwise, if you just Google doulas in Perth, we all work really well as a community as well. So if one can't do it, they will then refer you on to someone who can help you, making sure you're still able to get that care.
Okay, so it really is very much a community of women, and the process, from my understanding, is quite a spiritual one. Would you like to speak about that? Tell us a bit more about the journey.
The journey to birth, is that what you mean?
No, more. It's how to say. So with the doula, you've got your 4 processes before. So you meet the doula, and then you go through. Was it 4 months beforehand, or is it just a couple of days before the birthing? What procedures?
Generally, so with me, this is again more specific to me. Everyone's different. Everyone has their own way of doing it. But, you can bring a doula on as early or as late as you like. The earlier gives you a bit more time to work on things, to explore things, to unpack different concerns or fears that the couple might have. But it's not saying you can't do it later on in the pregnancy either. You're just kind of cramming it in a bit more, like less time, I guess, to explore your options. But generally within a week or so you can meet the mum, and you're not rocking up at her birth like, hey, guess what, I'm your doula and I'm going to help you birth your baby. Probably not the ideal situation there. But there's no right or wrong way around it. It's when you decide that you're ready as a mum who's about to birth your baby, when you decide the time's right, that's when the time's right for you.
Okay, so it's very much a more natural process. This being a doula, it's not. Is this replacing the medical physicians or nurses?
No, definitely not. There are some women out there who will choose free birth, and they may then choose to have a doula there as their spiritual support or their mental support. But in no way do we ever act in any medical way. We don't perform any medical checks. We never interfere in anything medical either. So if you're wanting a more medical birth, we are still there to support you through that, and encourage you the best way we can.
Okay, and because would you as a doula go to, say, someone's home if that was their preference of location, or would you go to the hospital? You're flexible and moving around to accommodate obviously these women as to their wishes?
Yeah, definitely. I reckon home births are absolutely amazing because you're bringing a lot more of them into the birth. It's not, that real medical environment that you see in a birth suite at a hospital. Most of the amazing births that you can see, they generally happen at home, when you've got, the family pictures up around, they've got their fairy lights, they've got their candles burning, whether they're birthing in the pool or on their bed. So it's up to them if they want a home birth. I'm all for home births. But as well, if they're wanting to birth in a hospital, because that makes them feel more secure and more comfortable, because they're able to be monitored, or if anything does go wrong, they're there already, then that's up to them as well. And there's no reason that you can't transform that hospital space into an amazing place to birth.
That's beautiful. It sounds like you've really, like, it's a beautiful sanctuary. Of course, these women want to feel safe and nurtured, and certainly your place, I guess, is to cultivate that that safe environment for them. So it's very, very interesting. Tell me, is this doula recognised by the Australian medical healthcare?
No, we're not. In America, they are actually recognized. There is a lot more involved from being in America, though. And but the benefit of that is, at the moment, especially, they're classed as an essential worker, and that they're seen as an essential part of birth. However, here, unfortunately, and fortunately at the same time, we're not recognised, so you're not able to get rebates on your healthcare, little things like that. You can find that, you know, there is a bit of an exemption that you're not allowed in the birth suite, given that the current situation of COVID. But that's not saying that we can't find exemptions into that. No.
Okay, interesting. We've got a couple of images popping up there just to educate our viewers. Is there anything that you would like to see change in regards to the current system that you would see that would be better or beneficial for these mums?
I guess I'd like to see mums and their partners become a lot more aware of all their birth choices. You know, that you do have choices when selecting your care providers. It's not just you can birth in the public or the private system. It's you can birth private, or you can birth with an independent midwife, or you can birth with the midwifery program, or you can birth in the public system, or you could free birth if you really wanted to. So having that understanding and education of all of your birth choices, I think, is really, really important for women and their partners. And that's, I guess, what I aim to do through my, so on top of my prenatal classes as a doula, I've got dad's classes, dad specific classes, where I actually work with my husband. Great idea. And we work together with the couples because we know men are more likely to listen to men. But educating them all on their birth choices and how they can help support their birth partners, because we've seen a link between men who are, well, I shouldn't say men, birth partners who are more hands-on and supportive. They've got better postpartum experiences for both mum and dad. There's a whole list of benefits for the partners being more hands-on as well. So, you know, it's about spreading that awareness and the education around that.
It's really interesting, Em. I'm really grateful for you coming on. You've been a very valuable guest. I certainly enjoy learning something new. And thank you so much for sharing this. With the world
Thanks for letting
turning,
me share the wisdom.
thank you. Yes, it's interesting because the world, I guess, is changing, and I think that the more people know about this, it would be very, very popular, and more popular now. Now that the world's changing to a more spiritual and alternative options, or maybe just even coming down to more nature and a more natural way instead of going for other medicinal therapies. And especially that it's existed for centuries, and I think it's relative to like home remedies and oils and mindfulness and so on. So thank you for joining us and sharing those words with us. And yeah, thank you, Em.
Thanks.
That's all we have for. You're welcome. That's all we have for you today. So thanks for spending time with me. And thanks to our guest, Emily Schoeman. And thank you to Bruce Moore and InView TV for producing today's episode. My name is Tais Froggatt. We'll see you next time on Lifestyles with Tais.
It's all about